Stephen Connolly. I'm the ABP Agri Sustainability Manager, and today we're on the ABP Demo Farm. In 2015, we joined a partnership with two local beef farmers. The farm size is 280 acres, made up of two blocks. So the home block is the largest block, there's 150 acres here. It was previously a tillage farm. It has all been recently reseeded. We had to put in all the grazing infrastructure, so we had to put in paddocks, put in a water system to try and get our system up and going. So the key parts of the farm that we're really looking at, really focusing on our research, is animal breeding, also grassland management, but also other factors that's going to improve the environmental sustainability on the farm. So like the manure management, different types of fertiliser, also biodiversity. It's a key part of this farm. The system on the farm here is focused on dairy calf to beef. So we buy in roughly 400 calves at 2 to 3 weeks of age, and we rear them right through to finishing. The system is a 19-month heifer and a 21-month steer. We've a range of breeds here. So we've Angus, Hereford, Limousin, Belgian Blue, and we even have this year for the first time some stabiliser calves. What we do is we buy the good, the bad, the ugly. So we're not just selecting all the good calves here, we're just buying a mix. Basically what we do here, we're working in collaboration with ICBF and Teagasc to look at basically the breeding. What can we do to improve breeding of these calves coming from the dairy herd? So we roughly buy in 15 or 20 calves from each bull, and we performance test them right through their life. What we measure so it's their weight on arrival. We also measure then their weight at weaning, or every month these animals are weighed. So it's something that's a bit novel. A proportion of these animals then go for feed intake and feed efficiency measuring in Tully, and in there they also measure the methane of these animals. So trying to get more data and trying to identify which bulls on the farm are producing the most profitable calves. So the big thing is all black calves or an Angus calf at 2 to 3 weeks looks the same. We've all done it, we've all as farmers bought calves and they never turned out the way we hoped, or we have some big ones, some small ones. So a key part of this farm is to see why. And so the sire and the breeding of them calves has a huge impact on the animal performance, whether that be its growth rates, its carcass weights, its conformation, but also things that as a farmer we don't see is how much feed it eats to put on that kilo again. We've been on this farm for the last 5 years. We have data from over 4,000 cattle, and we found by going out as a farmer and buying calves from bull A versus bull B, it can be up to €200 there in carcass value alone. But also the sustainability, the environmental sustainability. There's a carbon reduction from them animals, from the high performance animals. So I suppose the economic sustainability, the environmental sustainability, it goes hand in hand. So the calves here will come in at 2 to 3 weeks of age. They all come from roughly 25 dairy farms. The dairy farmer must record the sire, they must record the calving difficulty. We'll have the gestation length as well. We'll weigh them at regular intervals. The system here is very simple. They're on milk replacer for roughly 6 weeks. They spend about 2 to 3 weeks then after weaning in the house, and then we turn them out to grass. They're on a rotational grazing system, and we give them roughly on average a kilo of meal right through the summer until housing. Probably housing roughly middle of November here. So basically we've straw bedded sheds with a slat at the front for the feeding space, and they're on grass silage, and they're on 3 kilos of beet. And then we put them roughly on 2 kilos of meal, and then as the year comes on we'll pull that meal down we'll take them off meal completely, because it's very important when it comes close to grass. We don't want them laying down fat, so we want to get them acclimatised to going out, and when they hit the grass that we get that bounce in performance. So most cows here are mainly born middle of February to middle of March. And there's no cows here born in April. Because of our sheds and using the same sheds for our yearlings and getting our calves, we have to get our cattle out early. Sometimes that can be tricky with weather, but we aim to try and get weanlings starting to go out to grass we try to target the end of February. Doesn't always happen, but that's what we try to do. The key outcome for ABP on this farm here is how do we improve the environmental and economic sustainability of beef production in Ireland. We know that we're one of the most carbon efficient producers of beef in the world, and we're here to champion that for our farmers. But at the same time, we all have to do our share, and so we have to look at ways how do we reduce the carbon footprint of our beef. Key parts of that is animal breeding, but also there's nutrition, health, and also looking at how do we grow more grass, what fertiliser do we use, how do we make best use of our farmyard manure, and also biodiversity. So I suppose the key reason why this would be interesting to farmers is it's an integrated beef scheme for dairy bred cattle and suckler bred cattle. So what we want to do is build more relationship with our farmers. What it will do, I suppose, it will give the farmer a safety net through a minimum price. Through our farm advisors, our liaisons, we're here to give support, whether that be to maybe help them with the animal breeding side of things, whether it be maybe grassland management. But that's an integral part of the programme, and also there's a 20-cent sustainability bonus for meeting these targets. So I think that's the key reason why to join. A farmer knows how to rear his cattle. He'll rear them better than anyone. So he knows how best to rear them, what's best system for him or her, and he's a bit of flexibility where he can buy the feed wherever he wants, he can buy local. So I think that's one of the main reasons why you would join. Because I know it can be tricky when you see like elements of the breeding side of things, but they're there to try and help farmers, like to try and make genetic improvements, to try and create a pull factor to use these better bulls on these dairy cows. So from the research here on animal breeding, we're going to be putting out a list of the most suitable bulls in AI for the Advantage Beef programme. So that's going to be one part. And we're also going to start giving more information out more regularly. So to give information on, we'll say, which bulls are performing best on this farm. We'll give some more information on what we're doing on the farm in terms of management. And we'll also be very open on what goes right and what goes wrong, because not everything is going to go right, so I think it's very important to show the good and the bad on the farm.